Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. We're just going to get started in a few more minutes. Thank you for your patience. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Washington Formula Motorsports T37 Unveiling. My name is Melissa, and I'm the events lead this year, and I'm super excited to introduce your team to you all today. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. To our sponsors and supporters in the room, your investment goes directly into our work, and we don't take that lightly. Please join me in a round of applause for our sponsors. Without further ado, I'd like to pass it off to our Administrative Director, Isaiah Suklin.
Alrighty. Hello everyone, my name is Isaiah Suklin, and I've been your T37 Admin Director for the past year. So, what is an Admin Director? You may be asking. What does that mean on a team of race car engineers? I think the easiest way to describe it is that if Peyton is the guy that builds the car, and Emma's the gal that makes the car run, I'm the person that puts everything together and everything else needed to build the car itself. Engineering is already difficult enough. It's applied physics and math, and then on top of that, you actually have to manufacture parts, assemble the system, test it, break it, fix it, and then somehow turn that into a race car. But even after all of that, engineering does not happen in a vacuum. To build something like this, you need infrastructure. You need organization, tools, equipment, material, manufacturing support, logistics, food, travel, and of course, cash money. And that's why my job exists. A few statistics that I'm proud of this past year: the number of sponsors we've worked with, the amount of outreach we did, and the support we were able to bring to the team. But my main project this year has been getting us back to Formula Student Germany. Last year, we had the chance to go to FSG, but we were unable to compete. And even though that was very difficult, just being there changed the way I saw this team. Germany showed me what the highest level of Formula SAE looks like. The cars are incredibly beautiful, precise, lightweight, and intentional. Every detail has a purpose, and every part looks like it belongs. And the way those teams respect their cars really spoke to me. I know our team has the talent to compete at the highest level. I know we have the engineers, the work ethic, and the obsession. But talent alone does not get us across the world. So since the fall, I've reached out to over 500 people asking for help to get back to Germany. Out of those 500 people, only about 20 led to further conversations or meetings. That means hundreds of emails, hundreds of no responses, and a lot of very polite rejections. But it only had to work once. Competing in Germany means competing with the best in the world, and I know that's what our team deserves. Through every rejection and every follow-up email, every presentation and every meeting, I kept believing that someone would believe in our mission. So, I would like some help to extend my deepest gratitude to Radiant Logistics for supporting our team on our journey back to Germany this year. And that's what really this role has meant to me. It's been about conveying to everyone and anyone that will listen what exactly is the value of our team and how amazing it is. But sometimes I get messages from people asking, can I join Formula? I'm looking for an internship in Formula, and it makes me wonder, what would a job listing for Formula look like? What would it say on the application page? And I thought, okay, it might look like, okay, we're a small business, 90 to 110 employees. We have a beautiful Seattle office with lakeside views, nearby parking, great health benefits, and we have a great return on investment year over year. And most of this is true, but the honest version would look like is that we are 90 to 110 unpaid volunteers. Our office is in a basement of the engineering annex. Don't park at the pit. Health benefits may include stress and or hair loss. But the one thing that is true is the return on investment. Formula will always pay its dividends. Whether it be through your career, internships, your connections, Formula is worth it. These are the smartest people I've ever met. These are the hardest working people I've ever met. And this car is absolutely awesome. So, as Socrates once said, the pit is my home, and this team is my family. Next up, I'd like to introduce Peyton to the stage.
All right, hello, thank you everyone. I'm not the best public speaker. I'm always a little nervous about doing things like this. I've climbed mountains and jumped off bridges, but this never quite felt the same. To put my mother's mind at ease, no, I did not jump off those bridges because my friends did it. I was the first to go. Anyway, as you can see, I'm very much an imperfect person, but this team is perfect. I love each and every part of this team. The amount of nights that everyone else has gone home and I've been sat there in the peace and serenity of an empty pit or a silent comp shop, and I've been left with nothing but my senses detecting just content, pride, and the most humbling feeling that I'm privileged to lead the finest engineers, students, and humans all at once. Specifically, I get to lead the mechanical side of our team. For me, that means taking this bright-eyed kid from just 1 year ago and thinking about rules and inspection notes, our team's past successes and failures, our future goals, until I look like this, in the hopes that at the end of this year, we'll be able to take a photo like that. Of course, that's not possible without an amazing leadership group around me. This includes Emma and Isaiah absolutely killing it on their side of the house, as well as all of these wonderful people. That starts with Augustin, our suspension lead for this year. Augustin is part of the backbone of this team and probably the person with the greatest racing spirit and passion for motorsports. He's a wealth of knowledge and an incredibly talented lead who's been able to form a tight-knit suspension team this past year. Next, I have the Andrews, my workhorses this year. Everyone knows that I'm a bit partial towards aero and chassis, having spent so much time on the teams myself. But if it weren't for these two, I think my preference for these teams would have long been soured. Whether it be ungodly shifts working with Swope on laying up the chassis, or Yukima saving me every time I feel I have so much work on my hands, it's paralyzing. These two have been integral not just to the success of this team and the progress it's made, but to keeping everyone's spirits high. Next is Martin. Martin, if you could only hear him speak, is someone that I think you could would easily pass as the most mature and level-headed person you've ever met. He's the definition of even-keeled and self-taught. There's not a thing you could throw his way that could rock his boat or he could not learn to overcome. Amrita is another person who's wise beyond her years. I think she probably holds the record for most late nights and early mornings. I think that she's someone who has been an incredible bright spot on the team this past year with her humor and intelligence. Paige is someone who's shocked me. She is an incredibly well-suited person towards working with others and teaching them. Oftentimes our team talks about manufacturing as the sub-team where we develop and grow a lot of our best engineers, and the leads of those teams often have the technical ability for the role, but sometimes the personal skills can be a little bit lacking. Luckily for us, Paige has both. And finally, Sam. Sam's someone who I got to know well this past summer, and I'm so happy that both his members and I had that opportunity because I've never met someone who is more capable of bringing a group together as seen at our last Halloween party. And that's such an invaluable asset and skill for the team, especially one as young as Composites. As for the team as a whole, never in my life have I seen such a large group of people come together and form this interconnected web of skills and passions. The mechanical side in particular has been a treat for me to watch because it's so clear to watch people tangibly come together with their parts and grow to build this beautiful thing. I'm really excited for you guys to see what we've gotten around to this time. And with that said, of course, we would just be building a beautiful, expensive statue if it weren't for our electrical counterparts. So without further ado, I'd have the honor of introducing our electrical director, Emma Wilson.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'd like to start by saying what a true honor it has been being T37's electrical director. This past year has been one of the most ambitious and transformative periods for our team. We set out to raise the standards for what our members can do, which went beyond lap times and focused on building a stronger engineering foundation, empowering cross-team collaboration, and creating systems that form the bedrock for future iteration. From a technical perspective, one of the biggest shifts we made was deciding to fully integrate a driverless system on the car for the first time in University of Washington Formula Motorsports history. For several years, the driverless sub-team had lived in R&D and was operating in isolation from the rest of the car. 1 year ago, the director team and I decided that T37 was going to be the team to make driverless a reality. We knew it was a big risk, but it was how we would maintain our edge over our competitors, as well as prepare ourselves for the international stage at Formula Student Germany. That decision completely changed how we engineered the car. It forced us to think about reliability and safety across all systems from day one. The car had to be designed with the expectation that it would be driven by software and not a human that's capable of adapting to the car's quirks. This meant that there had to be more robust electronics, clear integration points, and more intentional testing. This brings me to something that I think is easy to overlook. Growth is often nonlinear, and rarely is it a comfortable process to go through. This year has certainly come with its fair share of challenges, from designs that didn't go as planned to navigating the changing economics of the world. And throughout all of this, our members have demonstrated that they are able to quickly adapt, and these are the moments where real learning happens, the kind that translates into their careers. On a more personal level, being a part of this team and having taken on a leadership role has been one of the most impactful experiences I've had. I came into this role thinking mostly about performance and results, like getting the car built, hitting our deadlines, and showing up strong for competition. What I've learned is that none of this would be possible without the leads and members behind it. Leading this team has challenged me to communicate more clearly, stand my ground, and make difficult trade-offs. The reliability and performance of this car is a reflection of the team that has built it. It's in how we share knowledge, handle setbacks, and show up for each other when things go wrong at 3 in the morning. And with that, I'd like to take a moment to highlight the electrical leadership team who has made all of this possible. First, I want to recognize Amrita, our electric powertrain lead. Her system is quite literally the heartbeat of our car. She stepped into a monumental leadership role as a sophomore and has become a calm center during so many stressful moments. Under pressure, she carries herself with a quiet confidence and grace, and you can see how much her mentorship has taken root in her members. Our electronics leads, Caden and Ben, are the backbone of our electrical system. They bring humor into the longest nights and have an incredible work ethic. Together, they hold a wealth of knowledge on the inner workings of our entire electrical system and work in perfect synchronicity to diagnose and solve any problem that the car throws at us. Our T37 firmware lead, Minjay, is one of the most determined problem solvers on the team. He is the glue between our hardware systems and the driverless integration, making sure that every part of the system is communicating as it should. He works with a steady calm even when timelines are tight, and I've never seen him become overwhelmed. He only becomes more focused. And last but certainly not least is Zev, who is one of the most methodical members on our team. He has pushed all of us to treat driverless as a core feature of the car and not just an accessory, which has ensured that it's considered in every single design decision. Over this year, he has refined the driverless system into something simple but powerful enough to complete every single driverless event at competition. He is incredibly passionate about his members and their work, and it shows in the ownership and excitement they bring to the system they are building. At the end of the day, this team is its people and the shared commitment to building something together. Every single member of this team contributes to that, and it is something I'm so incredibly proud to be a part of. As we unveil this year's car, I hope that you appreciate not only the hundreds of thousands of hours that have gone into building it, but also the process, the iteration, the collaboration, and the growth from every single member of this team. While the car represents a year of work, it is also a stepping stone. The systems built this year will carry forward into future generations of this team and continue to build on the legacy of UW Formula Motorsports. To the team, I'd like to thank all of you for your dedication, your resilience, and your willingness to push far beyond what is asked of you. I am incredibly proud of what we have built, and more importantly, I'm excited about where we're going. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce the first of our technical leads, Augustin Deleroy, for suspension.
And I met you in the summer to my heartbeat sound. We fell in love as the leaves turn brown. And we could be together, baby, as long as skies are blue. You act so innocent now.
Suspension. Conventional race car knowledge might lead you to believe that suspension is just the springy bits of the car, but I would like to think that we get to work with every part of the car. From the brake system to the mechanical miracles that bring the driverless system to life, suspension deals with everything between the steering wheel and the tire, which is kind of the whole car. For the T37 suspension team, we had 3 clear goals: integrate driverless systems, tune to reach the limits, and win. To do this, we pushed the boundaries of what our team has ever done with projects such as carbon fiber control arms and custom brake calipers. And we also had the opportunity of being the first suspension team in UW-FM history to fully integrate the driverless mechanical systems on the car. And with that, I am honored to introduce the engineers who made these incredible systems possible. First, our amazing brake caliper engineer, Lincoln Ferguson. Lincoln is one of the best engineers I've ever met, and this project really showed off his skills. So before I was his lead, and he was still my lead, Lincoln told me he knew he could make better brake calipers than the professionals at AP Racing. And I'm proud to say that he did. Great brake calipers are good, but they need to work with good brake rotors and good brake lines to perform to their best. Daniel McAvoy did just that as a brake engineer. Not only did he design an improved rotor face to improve clearing debris from the brake pads, he also improved our brake line routing for an overall cleaner, more reliable brake system. Braking is an important part of the car, but one of the central parts of the suspension system is the springs and dampers. This year, Kim Yu brought our damper dynamometer to life to collect data and tune our dampers and springs. As a result of his work, drivers said our car is feeling the best it has ever felt. And to connect our dampers with the rest of our suspension, Alessandro Pestero designed a belt ring system with significantly reduced friction as compared to previous years, allowing the entire suspension system to perform at its best. Lillian Gellings was tasked with one of the hardest tasks on the entire team, stopping the car when it has no driver. The driverless brake system is an automatic brake system that activates when any fault is present on the driverless car, and thus it is the last line of defense against a runaway car. And so I'm proud to say that there are few people I would have entrusted with this task other than her. Wyatt Augenstein is only one of the best machinists I've ever met, but he's also an incredible, well-rounded engineer. This is why I chose to give him the challenge of making the car steer by itself, a challenge which he surpassed with ease. And Andy Tian is the only freshman I hired this year, and he definitely did not make me regret the decision. Working on the steering system, especially as a freshman, is no easy task, as there are so many components working together, and he still managed to make improvements to it, such as the aluminum turnbuckles, all while learning how our team works. Hayden Williams was entrusted with connecting the car to the wheels. Making control arms is no easy task, and he chose to make it harder on himself by not only choosing to do carbon fiber control arms, but also optimizing the mass of all of the aluminum parts to make them lighter, and despite the manufacturing challenge that those weight savings represented. Holden Pantaleaf had the very difficult job of picking up the project I worked on last year, and I'm proud to say that he achieved things that I did not even know were possible. His project focused on taking in driver inputs and figuring out what torque to output to each of our car's motors. So with traction control and torque vectoring, he's making our car the fastest it's ever been, and with the power control algorithm, he is keeping us legal within the rules, all while being more elegant than in previous years. And last, and certainly not least, is Taylor Lai. Taylor was gone in the fall on internship, and yet she helped suspension members on their project designs, and when she came back during winter quarter, she also helped greatly in the manufacturing of those projects. And when she's in helping people with their projects, Taylor organizes bonding events for the suspension team, which we all greatly appreciate. Speaking of bonding, I consider the suspension team not only my coworkers, but also my friends. Together, we have created a suspension system that we are more than proud of, all while supporting each other and also having fun. And with that, I would like to introduce the T37 drivetrain team and its lead, Martin.
Hello, everybody. I'm Martin Johnson, your drivetrain lead for T37. So we are a team of students who design the gearboxes that go in all four corners of the car. So we have a single stage ratio in each corner, and that means that we're not able to shift gears like you would in a manual car. Yeah, we have a couple cool highlights is that we made our own custom titanium wheel lugs, and we also made custom wire EDM gears. And so you might be wondering, why do we even need a drivetrain at all? So the motors themselves can produce over 100 horsepower, which seems like a good start. We have a light car, we should be able to go fast. And the motors can rotate at 20,000 RPM on their own. So if you were to connect that motor directly to the wheel, the car hypothetically could go Mach 1.25, over 900 mile an hour, which would be pretty badass. But, it would take an hour and 6 minutes for us to hit that top speed. So clearly it is worth trading some of that top speed for better acceleration. And so it's our job and my team's job to decide how much of that top speed should we trade for how much acceleration, and then how to package that into a compact mechanical system. So absolutely none of this would have been possible without the very talented engineers standing with me on this stage. And so I'd like to introduce what they worked on this year and give them some shout outs. So Pranav Jain and David Payan worked together on the knuckle. This is the component that holds the carrier. So that's the geometry which supports all the gears in the package. And it also connects it to the suspension system. So Pranav was responsible for sort of the upright side of the geometry, and David worked on the carrier side. Pranav will be your next year's drivetrain lead, and he's my roommate and one of my best friends. Let's see. Oops, skipped one. Yeah, so Nate and Lucas worked together on the rotating assembly. So Nate was responsible for the structure of the rotating hub and designing a lot of the aluminum parts you see, and he also made our custom titanium wheel lugs in-house, which was a cool project. Lucas was our freshman. He worked a lot on sealing the gearbox. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to keep oil inside a package. So he built us a custom sealing jig to prove out a new seal that we're working on. Ashita designed our custom cooling jacket. So our motors actually produce enough heat to where we need to flow water past them so that we get enough heat transfer. So Ashita designed the internal geometry for that and validated it. Ruben was responsible for our sensor suite, the placement and choosing of the sensors so that we understand as much as possible about the package. This is a super cool project that I want to shout out. So we built a new dynamometer in-house this year. So this is a super critical project for the team because it allows us to understand a lot more about how the drivetrain works and what its limits are. So we'll be able to learn things like the operating temperature of the gearbox, how efficient we are, and a few other important things like that. So Sammy led the sponsorship and coupling design, and Danny led the structures, including the base and the upright mount. Pranay was our gears engineer, so he designed the planetary stack, and Vanu worked on custom motor R&D that we hope to implement in the future. With that, I just want to say that it was an absolute pleasure to lead this team this year. These engineers are extremely talented, and I had a great time doing it. With that, I'd like to introduce Andrew Swope and the chassis team.
Okay, there we go, sorry. Hi, my name is Andrew Swope, and I am privileged to be the T37 chassis lead. So chassis kind of sounds straightforward, but it's not really. I like to think of chassis as primary structures plus. So not only do we deliver the carbon fiber monocoque, which provides the majority of structure and integration for most of the team, like suspension and E-train, but we also provide specific primary structures like the battery container and driver protection for our roll hoop, and as well as brakes and pedal assemblies to allow our drivers to actually push the car to the limit. Now, that's a lot of work, especially building a monocoque is really hard. It takes about 8 weeks. How do we accomplish all of this? With a lot of help from some amazing members. So I would like to recognize Lin, who is our battery container engineer. Now, this year was a bit of a challenge. The design progressed quite a bit from last year, but took 2 attempts to deliver successfully. So she did a great job learning some hard-won lessons from the first and applying them to the second. Next up, Tyler is our hardpoints design engineer. He's currently away on an internship with SpaceX. Hardpoints provide attachments for the battery pack and the suspension so that they do not damage the monocoque during driving, cornering. This year, he did an excellent job optimizing and improving the strength of our hardpoints to give a suspension the ability to push the car harder and faster. Now, Micah is our wheel shell design engineer. So the wheel shells are the thing that the tires mount to, and it's drivetrain mounts. He worked really hard to validate and optimize our custom composite wheel shells. This came with some hurdles, especially since this project has kind of been in the byline for a little while and is new to chassis this year. But he did a great job working through some really tough challenges. Next, Alex Ware is our roll hoop design engineer, which are the hoops that protect the driver in case of a rollover. He is also away on internship with Tesla. But he's also the next chassis lead, and I'm looking forward to seeing where he takes the team next year. Patricia is responsible for the pedals assembly, including brake and throttle. So she integrates with the driverless brakes assembly so that the driver can actually operate the car when the driverless system is not operating it. And this year she made some great improvements to the packaging and ergonomics of the system. She also managed to balance her project and chassis work against making all of Aero's molds, which is practically a project of its own. Next up, Sneha is our freshman this year and is responsible for ergonomic improvements for our drivers, making sure that they are safe and comfortable during drives. She also does an excellent job installing core splice during chassis layup, which I am super grateful for. Now, there are some people on chassis who do not have projects, but I would like to give them a big shout out. So Kamiar is amazing at structural analysis and is always willing to hop on a call to help out if you're not having good luck with your ANSYS sim. Alex is a great person to have when you're trying to make the most convoluted bag in history and led us to a solid 3-for-3 perfect chassis bags. And Ron is an excellent source of any advice for anything chassis with experience on 3 chassis plus a bunch of old man's wisdom and sweaters. And Kevin is the I know a guy. So if you need a machine or a process, Kevin knows a guy and he can get it for you. Now, I would like to stop and reflect on the incredible journey that this year has been for the team and me as a lead. I knew it would be really hard, and it definitely was. Late nights, earlier mornings, soaring highs, crushing lows, joy, terror, all the emotions you can imagine when you're working for weeks, manufacturing and laying up. In spite of all that, this has been an incredibly fulfilling year, and to see a new car take shape is incredible. I've never been so motivated or so challenged by anything else, including my members, and that is all that I could have ever asked for as a lead. I could never have done it without the support of my members, including their technical and personal support. Once again, thank you to my members for working so hard, and thank you for the privilege of being your lead. And now, I would like to welcome Aerodynamics, led by Andrew Uhema, to the stage.
Shawty's like a melody in my head that I can't keep on. Got me singing like time we met, you was at the mall with your friend.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew, and I am the T37 Aerodynamics lead. Everybody always asks me, what does the Aero team actually do? And everybody thinks that our job is to make downforce and to help the car corner faster. But in reality, our job is to make the car look cool. With that being said, here's a quick overview of the Aerodynamics package. Our top level goals were reliability, aero adjustability balance, and improve our surface finish. And this year, we were able to design a package that produces a CO of negative 3.97 and a CD of 1.4. And if those numbers mean nothing to you, just know that we finish fast. Our aerodynamics package starts with fall quarter of design, where we do a bunch of CAD, a bunch of CFD, and a bunch of FEA on our aerodynamics package. And then comes the longest and most annoying quarter of them all, manufacturing, where we have to machine the molds, which were doubled this year because we switched to negative molds to improve our surface finish. And then we have to lay them up, paint them, and sand them, and sand them, and sand them, and keep sanding them until they're perfectly to 2,000 grit. And finally comes the best part of testing, where we test our aerodynamics package on the car and inside the wind tunnel and validate to see what we've done back in fall and winter quarter actually worked. But how is this all even possible? With some amazing members. And this cannot be possible with these people here. Starting off with Sarah. She was our under tray designer, and she designed our under tray. And with her CFD knowledge, she was able to push the boundaries, what was available of our CFD methodology, and push to develop new methodologies. Rania was our rear wing designer, and she manufactured and produced and designed the rear wing. No matter what time she was needed, no matter what work was needed, she was here, and she was able to get the work done. Oh, there's my members. Let someone switch my slides. Anyways, Owen, he was our front wing designer. He was able to produce our front wing, and always, the thing about Owen, he always brings the mood up. No matter what's going on in the pit, no matter how low the lows are, he's able to bring a smile on his face, like you can see right there, and deliver. Darren is our internal structures engineer. He was able to design all the internals of our front wing and rear wing. And he's the reason why our aerodynamics package will be indestructible this year. No matter how much 9309 he gets on his hand, he will always have time to crack a smile and a joke. And I can't wait to work with him. Evan, he's our side pods, quick check bar, and livery engineer. He was able to design and integrate our side pods to house our radiators, and also the reason why our car's livery looks so beautiful, which you can't see right now, but give it about 30 minutes, you will see it. And Navy here is our aerodynamics testing engineer. She was able to design a rear wing model of our car to test and validate our car in the wind tunnel. Jack is our cooling system engineer. He is the reason why our car is cool, and like Martin mentioned earlier, our motors need cooling. So if he were to fail, Martin and Amrita would give me an angry phone call asking why their stuff is overheating. And finally, Varun. He left after fall quarter, but during fall quarter, he was here doing R&D on suspension fairings. And about Varun, he's always, one thing about him, he always has a smile on his face, and no matter what's going on, he will always smile and bring good mood to the pit. And finally, I want to take this time to reflect on this year we had here today. Coming into this year, I knew it would be hard. All the early mornings, the late nights, the soaring highs, and the crushing lows. All the disappointments, satisfaction, joy, and sadness. But in spite of all that, this year has been an amazing year. It's been incredible with the amount of work that's been done to see the car take shape and all the work of everybody on the team to make it finally happen. I've never been more motivated or challenged by anything else, and that's all I can ask for as a lead. This team, the people, have changed me for the rest of my life, and I hold a special place in my heart. I have not done it without the support of my members and everybody in this team. And once again, I say thank you, and thank you for the privilege of being able to be your lead. And with that, I would like to invite Amrita Singh to the stage with the electric powertrain team.
All right, hi guys, I'm Amrita, and I'm your T37 electric powertrain lead. So, electric powertrain. When I first joined this team, I was a little confused. Like, I sort of knew what electricity was, I knew what power was, I'd seen a couple trains. What's an electric powertrain? So, in our context, the powertrain of a car is going to encompass the system that drives power to the wheels. This includes the high voltage battery, the inverters, as well as all the low voltage power running through the car. This year, that's involved developing a 537 volt battery pack to supply power to the motors, as well as a 24 volt battery pack that supplies power to all of our low voltage loads, including, this year, Driverless. Providing power to the car is more than just batteries, though. A major component of electric powertrain involves electromechanical integration. On the low voltage side, this is handled by a custom PCB enclosure called Top Box. And on the high voltage side, this is handled in the HV ancillary, which handles our fusing, switching, etc. It has been truly incredible seeing the work we've done this year come to life. There have been so many late nights, moments when I wasn't sure how everything was going to get done, problems that I didn't have solutions for, but the people around me and my team did. I am truly grateful to have had the opportunity to lead this sub-team. And even though I'm up here talking to you today, the real MVPs, the ones who made all the exciting stuff we're talking about today possible, are the engineers, the people on this sub-team. So let's talk about them. Like I mentioned before, there's two major parts of E-Train. There's batteries and there's packaging and integration. Guinness and Jose developed a custom 537 volt and 6.63 kilowatt hour battery pack, around 300 watt hours more capacity than last year's. I just said a lot of numbers, and well, 6.63 kilowatt hours isn't the most intuitive number. So I asked ChatGPT to put 6.63 kilowatt hours into perspective for me. And it told me 6.63 kilowatt hours isn't just a capacity. It's how much power it takes to run an electric vehicle for 20 to 30 minutes, which somehow I kind of already knew. To give a more helpful perspective, this is around enough to toast 250 slices of bread, or 300 cups of coffee. That's a lot of power. On the low voltage side, Jacob designed our 24 volt battery that supports all the loads in the car, from PCBs to buttons to cooling. This year, Jacob also prioritized supporting our driverless system. He has been so self-motivated and an incredible problem solver, and he's done some really, really great work. Guinness and Jose also did really incredible work on the battery pack this year, and I'm really excited to see what Guinness does as next year's electric powertrain lead. Now, let's talk packaging and integration. Enrica packaged our HV ancillary system, which manages the connection from the battery to the inverters. As you can see, this is a super compact space, especially when you're packaging safety-critical high voltage and low voltage components. Despite these challenges, Enrica worked really, really hard and came up with so many creative solutions for this space. On the low voltage side, Rowan designed Top Box, a custom PCB enclosure. This year, there were a lot of major packaging changes, as well as the implementation of driverless components. This made serviceability of the space a top priority, and Rowan has been super flexible, designing multiple revisions as boards have changed. Jacob, Rowan, and Enrica were entirely new to the team this year, and they did really, really great work. I'm so incredibly proud of what this team has accomplished this year, and so grateful to have had the chance to lead them. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Ben Ingalls and Caden Matson, who've been leading the electronics sub-team. Thank you.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben, and this is Caden, and this is the electronics sub-team. We're responsible for designing, assembling, and integrating each of the 33 custom circuit boards that live on our vehicle. Spanning 17 unique in-house designs, these boards provide functionality ranging from power management, safety systems, interfaces, vehicle control, and data acquisition. This year, we focused on building hardware for UW Formula's first driverless vehicle, which you'll hear more about later on. We also drove significant reliability improvements across the full system. And lastly, we aimed to integrate our first fully in-house vehicle control unit to unleash more performance out of this car than any in our team's history.
I want to start by taking a quick second to highlight one particular development story from this year. Since long before my time, our vehicle's been controlled by an Engine Labs ECU, which we buy off the shelf for just about $2,000. Being originally designed for a combustion vehicle, this thing's been pretty limited in its functionality ever since we went full EV. In October, we built up the first prototype of our custom VCU, and it was intended as a drop-in replacement for the Engine Labs variant. And this let us test our new system on last year's vehicle. After we proved that we could safely control the car with custom hardware and firmware, we moved forward with developing an optimized version that, with an architecture built around it. Now, this has opened the door for us to expand our torque control algorithms and incorporate driverless systems into the vehicle.
All right, next I'd like to introduce our awesome team and highlight some of their amazing projects. So first, our two new freshman members. Tesla designed our low voltage battery management system, responsible for ensuring the health and safety of said low voltage battery. Tesla has just the right amount of filter, which is none, and her perseverance is unmatched. If Tesla decides a board will work before the night is through, that board will work, or she'll run out of parts. Jack designed our power distribution unit, the backbone of the low voltage system. This guy absorbs knowledge like a sponge. He came in and started asking me questions I would expect of my senior peers within a month, and he puts that knowledge to use in every single design that he sends out. He also cracks me up on a daily basis.
Edward was responsible for our brake system plausibility device. He took a temperamental and unpredictable analog circuit, tore it down, and rebuilt it from first principles. Edward is genuinely one of the hardest working people I have met, and his tenacity motivates me every day to be better. Alex designed our high voltage battery management system, one of the most critical and complex systems on the vehicle. His relentless attention to detail gives me confidence that this system will work when it needs to most. Alex is our T38 electronics lead, and I can't wait to see where he takes this system.
Adarsh designed this year's dashboard display, an invaluable piece of the driver's toolkit that gives real-time info about the current state of the car. Adarsh is an electronics wizard. I have no other way to put it. He's somehow constantly working on 9 different design projects at any given time, each one more cool than the last. When I toss a project to Adarsh, I know it's in good hands. Oliver designed our charging cart interface, a completely new addition to our workflow that massively improves the charging process. Oliver's got a terrific attitude. He always shows up to the pit, ready to lighten the mood and strive to do quality work.
Joseph here designed our custom VCU that I mentioned earlier. This guy's a rock star, 4 years on the team, and he's been a major contributor to our success. I was very lucky to have him by my side as a co-electronics lead last year, and I couldn't have done it without him. I'm thankful that we'll be continuing to work together professionally post-grad. Teo was responsible for our entire data acquisition stack, ensuring quality data from every sensor on the car. Teo went above and beyond as we pushed hard in spring to get this car running, stepping up as a leader to guarantee our success. I'm super thankful for his bright mind and positive attitude that he brings to the team. At the end of the day, the best thing you can say about a team is that they make leadership look easy. And this group does exactly that. Their dedication, their brilliance, and the culture that they've built together is what drives everything we accomplish. It has been an honor to work alongside each of you and a privilege to call you friends. So I'll say, sincerely, thank you. Now I'm happy to bring Minjae onto the stage with his firmware team.
Hi everyone, my name is Minjay and I am T37's firmware lead. For those of you unfamiliar with the term firmware, I wanted to give a brief explanation as to what our sub-team does. We work closely with the electronics team, but we're not quite the hardware. We also can't really be called traditional software either. What's left is our team. Firmware is the sweet spot that lives in between. We write the code that runs directly on all of our electronic systems, bridging the gap between raw hardware and the logic that brings it all to life. I wanted to highlight some of the major goals and accomplishments that we've hit this year. First off, there were a few major changes and overhauls implemented into our electrical system, from our custom vehicle control unit and the overhaul of our telemetry system. Second, and my personal favorite, is the complete integration of our driverless system. Although we have a dedicated team that works on the algorithms and logic that goes into our driverless stack, there's significant firmware effort that is needed to ensure that our driverless system is reliable and, more importantly, safe. We work with the safety critical systems that are necessary for a driverless vehicle so that it doesn't run into a wall. Finally, it was crucial to me and the rest of our leadership team to create a solid foundation of firmware engineers that will be the future of UW Formula Motorsports. 5 of my 7 current members are underclassmen and have already learned and contributed so much to this team. I cannot be more proud of them and want to highlight some of their achievements. First off are Josephine and Aryan. They worked on the team's first ever fully custom vehicle control unit. This project is responsible for many things across the car, and is the main brain of our vehicle. It performs things like taking in driver inputs to requesting torque from our inverters, as well as interfacing with our brand new driverless system. Aryan, who graduated earlier this year, started this project in the R&D phase last year, and he worked tirelessly to ensure that it would end up on our vehicle. He laid a great foundation for Josephine to continue that work this year, and she has done an incredible job of doing so. Next up are Aishika and Amy, who were my chief telemetry engineers this year. I cannot say enough good things about these two. This year, telemetry required a large reworking, but these two, who have never done technical projects for our team, stepped up to the task and created a robust, reliable system that allows the team to analyze data live at drives, as well as post-processes and logs all of our vehicle signals for analysis later by anyone on the team. I can't count the number of late nights they've had to spend at the pit before a drive to ensure their system is reliable the next day. And for that, I will always be grateful. My 2 newest members, who joined the team earlier this quarter, are Ethan and Laura. It's difficult to join this team midway through the year, but they have done just that and have already been making an impact. They are working on our brand new charging cart interface, which improves safety and user experience for our high voltage battery charging process. Both of them had minimal firmware experience just several weeks ago, but have already developed strong firmware knowledge. I can't wait to see what their future looks like on this team. And finally, the last member up on stage is Arav, who joined as a freshman at the start of this year. He has been working on both our low voltage battery management system as well as our driver dashboard display. He's done an awesome job with both of these projects, and his diligence and commitment to this team are commendable, and I know that I can always count on him whenever there's an extra task to be done or we need some extra hands. The last of my current members is Manav, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but I wanted to highlight the work he's done this year. Manav has been developing our custom inverters, but beyond that, as the longest standing member of the firmware sub-team, he's always willing to come in and help out myself as well as our younger members whenever we may need it. He's incredibly selfless, and we could not be where we are today without him. Finally, I wanted to shout out some honorable mentions who have moved on from Formula this year, but have been critical to our success nonetheless. Vade, who was my lead, continued his work from last year on our high voltage battery management system. Nathan iterated on our power distribution unit, and Hitesh helped out with our custom inverter R&D. To wrap things up, I want to thank my directors, co-leads, and of course my wonderful members who I would not be here without. They truly do make the work so much more fun and enjoyable. And the memories that I will bring from this team are what I will carry with me after I graduate. On a separate note, I started on this team on the driverless side, and it has been incredible to see where the ideas that we had a couple of years ago have come to and see them finally come into reality. With that, I am proud to welcome Zev and the driverless sub-team up to the stage.
All right, hey everyone, welcome. My name is Zev, and I'm the driverless lead this year. So I'm going to do something a little bit different than the other teams. I'm going to start with the actual history of the driverless on UW Formula. So I went digging through the UW archives, and I found these videos from around the T31 era. So this is like 6 years ago, where we had the original concepts of doing a driverless system. It was basically a dream at that point to add this functionality to our car. You can see they're trying to detect some cones with a handheld camera and a little sim over on the other side. I just want to take a moment to appreciate that over the past 6 years, we've had many years of driverless development across the hardware and software subsystems that have been continuously building towards this eventual integration onto the team, and our progress could not have happened without them. So last year, I would say that we ended off with a pretty solid demo of our perception and path planning systems that was good enough to convince the rest of the team to let us give this a shot, and this is how it went. So following year, or I should say last summer, we went to competition in Michigan and Germany, and we had a chance to talk to some of the teams that have been working on driverless systems for many years now, especially in Europe. And really consolidate our thoughts on how to do this properly for our own system. So pretty similar to what we thought, but more fleshed out. Our system basically works with starting with perception, where we use our LiDAR sensor to identify cones and use them to find the path. Then we go on to state estimation, which uses our other sensors from the car to figure out where we are in space. After that, we do path planning, or figure out where we want to go. And lastly, we do have a control system to actuate the car onto that path that we just found. So starting this year on September 30th, we started a brand new empty code base for this year's integration onto the car. And just 8 weeks later, we were able to achieve our push test, which was a full stack test where we attached the LiDAR sensor, the computer, and the steering actuator to the car, and then push the car around the track and have it actuate itself following the lines, so that we kind of had a proof of concept of our platform without having any risk of the car driving itself away. Following that, we did a lot of development for multiple months in our simulator, and as we were progressing, we also went to the autonomous racing workshop in Hamburg. You can see us down low in the corner. And we got another chance to talk to these teams in Europe and really see how we should build these systems. And then following the T37's first drive on April 18th, not even a week later, on April 24th, we had our very first successful driverless drive of T37. Now, before I get to an actual video of that drive, I'm going to take a moment to appreciate each and every one of these amazing members on stage. So starting with Kevin, I think that describing Kevin as someone who worked on a perception system is a gross understatement to his impact on this team. Kevin is one of the longest standing members on this team, and his influence has basically spread to every single sub-team in the way that this team runs and the way it operates, and I can confidently say that we would not be where we are as an organization without him. Urvi is our newest member, and since she joined last February, she has basically built an entire SLAM, or simultaneous localization mapping stack, from the ground up on her own. She's an incredibly fast learner and an incredibly strong asset to this team, and both for the rest of this year and for future years to come. Brian was a new hire on this team this year, and he single-handedly built our entire custom simulator which might be the biggest reason that we are where we are today in terms of how far we were able to progress without as much car testing time as we may have liked. And I know that he's going to be a very strong member for years to come. Ronald's main focus on the team has been state estimation and specifically velocity estimation. But Ronald is really one of those guys who just steps up whenever it's needed and fills any hole that we need. So whether it's working on our CAN interface or working on rewriting our perception stack in about a week, he kind of has just done it all for us and is an incredibly, incredibly talented engineer. And last but certainly not least, there's Robert. Robert, as a sophomore, basically soloed the second half of our stack, completing all of path planning and controls on his own. And I'm very confident when I say that the team is in really great hands next year with him as lead. So here is going to be a demo or a video from the first driverless test drive we did. As you're going to see really quick, this car is not quite street legal yet, but we are really excited to share this big milestone with everyone. And I want to take a moment to appreciate that this is the worst that this driverless car will ever be, and the worst that this UW Formula team will ever be at doing driverless. And after 6 long years of development, I can confidently say that this team is officially a driverless team. And there we go. All right, and welcome up to Composites.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Craddock. I'm the T37 Composites lead. It may not be super intuitive what we do as a composites sub-team, so I'd like to explain that a little bit. As you may have seen through our chassis and our aero, a lot of our car is made of composites, and we do a lot of work with composites. Composites are a time and labor-intensive material to work with. And that's why we, as a sub-team, exist. We're here to support those sub-teams like chassis and aero to manufacture composites. What does this look like? This looks like layups, cutting plies, prepping surfaces, actually laying up, curing, and any post-processing that needs to be done after. Along with that, we have our own tiny projects. I'd like to introduce you to my team and the projects that we do. Starting us off is Caitlin Chang. She is our youngest member, and I've given her the task to do one of our hardest projects. This is AIPIA, a lot of letters. What this is our front crash structure. Pretty much, it consists of a big plate made of carbon fiber that prevents any penetration into the cockpit, and then a crumple zone, which is made of our cones. What she's been able to do this year is create a fully composite AIPIA system. This is something we've never had and will be great for the future. Next is Angie. She is our oldest member. We've had her on the team for a couple of years, on the composites team for a couple of years, and there's something quite peculiar about her. You may be able to tell if you ever talk to her, but she is actually a business major. While I think she would make a wonderful engineer, not that she'd want to, she's been tasked with our firewall. This is another safety critical feature that protects our drivers from a battery that might self-ignite. Next is Aaron. Aaron's been tasked with our headrest. He's worked closely with our ergo and our roll hoop engineers as well as our drivers to create a comfortable seating for their heads. In the past years, we've had quite a bulky headrest. This year, he's been able to optimize it and thin it quite a lot and position it correctly. Amara has worked on nose cone this year, which is an aero component. I think she did not quite know what she was walking into, but luckily she came out the other side with a full nose cone, a bunch of CAD knowledge, some fluid dynamics knowledge, as well as composite manufacturing knowledge. Evelyn has been tasked with our rain cover. This is a carbon fiber panel that sits atop of our our access hatch. This is so we can access our battery very quickly. The ideal thing about this is it needs to be watertight. And if you've ever made anything that needs to be super water resistant, you know how stubborn water can be. At a first look, this might look like just a flat piece of carbon sitting on our chassis, but there really is a lot more to this. Julian, I think, has probably spent the most time in the composite shop, maybe on this team. He helped with our wheel shell manufacturing. This was a super time-intensive and labor-intensive project. And joining this team, I know he had almost no layup experience. I am confident to leave him, to say that he is probably our best layup technician on this team. Karthik, I know I'm not supposed to pick favorites, but I think his project was my favorite to watch progress throughout this year. What he's been working on is a machine that's been sitting in the comp shop for maybe 5 years untouched. We decided to take it off the wall this year. It is, we call it the X-Winder. It is an automated fiber winding machine. And our goal this year is to see if we can actually end up using it for next year or years after. We put a lot of work into this. I know he put a lot of work into this, and I think as a material scientist, it's really cool to see what we've done and the non-destructive testing to get to this point. And with that, Paige Hartsgrove and the manufacturing subteam.
There we go. Okay. So, I have a confession to make. Last year, when I joined this team as a freshman, I genuinely did not know how to use a hand drill by myself. 1 year later, I found myself responsible for the management of hundreds of parts and knowledgeable enough to produce every single one of those parts. In my opinion, my experience demonstrates the purpose of the manufacturing team, which is not only to support the production needs of our car, but also to provide equal opportunity to students of all backgrounds through hard work. My name is Paige Hartsgrove, and I am the T37 manufacturing lead. With me on stage is the T37 manufacturing team. Oh, that one. We have Yahir, Lily, Savannah, Grace, Aito, Jeevan, Mira, Arun, and also Evan, who is not able to join us this week, and they have all been a huge help in the manufacturing process. The manufacturing sub-team is tasked with taking designs from other sub-teams and turning them into physical products, collaborating with responsible engineers to optimize design for manufacturability. This year, we were responsible for the production of 132 parts so far, working within 1,000th of an inch, with designs across all 6 of our mechanical sub-teams. Through the year, we utilized almost every machine in the shop, from CNC and manual lathes and mills to welders and water jets. Some goals I had for my sub-team this year were to output parts of consistent quality in a timely manner and to maintain member engagement throughout the year. I can say that without a doubt that both of these goals were achieved thanks to my amazing sub-team. As you can probably tell by now, this car is a huge project, and it requires a lot of hands. And although I am amazing, I would not have been able to output 100 parts by myself within roughly 10 weeks. So any accomplishments made by the manufacturing team were without a doubt thanks to all of these guys on stage, +7. They have shown up early and stayed late at the shop, and I have come to trust them with any challenge I throw their way. I am a firm believer that getting in a machine shop and learning how to machine makes you a better engineer. So I'm incredibly proud of the hard work that they have put in and the growth that I've seen from them this year. I'm incredibly excited to see where they all take their talents next year, and I'm so grateful that I got to work with such amazing people. I would also like to take a moment to thank our amazing faculty, staff, shop masters from the Mechanical Engineering Machine Shop, V and Eamon. They have allowed us extended use of the shop, they have assisted us with machining troubles, and most impressively, have endured our never-ending supply of quote-unquote stupid questions. With that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Isaiah and the admin leads.
Alrighty. Admin only, we are the smallest team, but what we do should not be forgotten. Nicole and Jessica have the privilege of spending all the money that we bring in, and they bring in hundreds of packages every single week, and they are extremely reliable, getting people what they need fast and when they need it. Jessica has been especially great at bringing her business expertise into our presentations, making them 5 times more beautiful. Nicole has also been a great mentor to me, often reminding me that I should panic more when things get dire. Melissa and Ellen manage events, team events, community outreach, and recruiting events within the team. They always make sure that we are where we need to be, and Melissa has a smiling, go-get-em attitude that brings energy that I love to see. To talk about Ethan, I tasked him with shipping our high-voltage battery to Germany, and not many people know who Ethan is, but he does deserve due respect because I often give him a task and then he brings back a completed task without any questions or a list of questions that I can easily answer, and he's extremely reliable. I said sleeper agent because he's never in the pit, but he gets work done and I appreciate him. And Madeline fills the artistic gaps on the team by bringing her writing, graphic design, and art skills to the team, and she's been working on the website and merchandise throughout the year. She's also been a great friend to talk with about Formula One, and I'll cite the fact that I lost $50 to her when I bet that Max Verstappen would win the World Championship last year. Admin Only is a small, tight crew that gets stuff done, and they fill the gaps that I can't reach. It's a pleasure to work with them, and they always give me a good laugh. So, thank you to Admin Only members. I will stay on stage and then invite my admin leads to the stage. So, like I mentioned earlier, of my many responsibilities is also to manage the 10 admin teams. Engineering needs both math and physics combined with organizational support, and I'm proud to highlight my admin leads from this year. Linlin's attention to safety and health has kept us out of a lot of trouble, and more importantly, out of harm's way. I'm especially proud of our successful organization of the removal and disposal of our old 2 battery packs, which dramatically reduced the risks in the e-train room and made our workspace much safer. Melissa stepped into events and taking over from Ellen in the winter, and she has done an amazing job making our presence known in the Seattle community. From January to April, we attended over 20 different events, tabling, elementary school presentations, conventions, and community outreach opportunities, all to get more eyes on the car and team. Jessica took over from Nicole for purchasing, and she's been incredibly diligent with the thousands of orders the team submits. She has also been managing team finances with me and helping with financial planning for next year, which has been a huge part of keeping the team organized and prepared. Darren has been leading the business case scenario for the competition by bringing big ideas and setting the direction for our different deliverables. He's an extremely hard worker, a pleasure to work with, and I fully believe he is going to help us take first place in the business event later this year. Ashita probably has the hardest job on the team. As resource management lead, keeping the pit clean is like fighting a war when your only weapon is a toothpick, but she has done a great job setting initiatives for better organization, improving workspace, and most importantly, keeping the ants away from the microwave. Nate has had the enormous task of managing the majority of our partnerships. He's extremely good at convincing people to give us more money, which is probably one of the most valuable skills anyone can have on the team. He is also a funny guy, which definitely helps. Speaking of other funny guys, Guinness leads the media team. I always appreciate his sense of style, his creativity, and the artwork he makes for the team. He is taking great care in leading media team by staying organized, communicating clearly, and making sure people know what needs to get done. Josephine is my favorite software engineer. Our computer lab breaks more often than it should, and she always gets to work fixing it immediately. She has also led major initiatives to get new computers for the CAD lab, building an entirely custom purchasing website, and helping whenever the PDM goes down. Holden manages the cost scenario for the competition, which means meticulously documenting the price of every single part on the car. He has done a great job keeping the team on track in what is usually the easiest parts of the competition to forget about, especially by convincing everyone that deadlines are weeks earlier than they actually are. Taylor manages the race team, or DTM, and she has been absolutely amazing with the organization and planning of drives. She is vocal, prepared, and does not let things slip through the cracks. I'm very proud of her work that she has done and the standards she has set for the team. These people are the behind the scenes that keeps the team safe, funded, organized, visible, and moving forward. The car may be what everyone sees tonight, but admin is what brings it together. Thank you, and we will now invite the seniors and Kevin Wang to the stage.
Thank you, Isaiah. I'd like to recognize the following names. Please hold your applause till the end as I say the names. Andrew Soap, Andrew Yukima, Ben Ingalls, Danny Nguyen, David Payan Olvera, Jose Adan Acuna Avila, Joseph Lee, Caden Matson, Kamiar Pusti, Kevin Cantini, Kevin Wang, Kim Yu, Lincoln Ferguson, Martin Johnson, Micah Sheldon, Minjay Dang, Patricia Chang, Pranav Jain, Pranay Anapantula, Ron Zuckerman, Ruben Thomas, Teo Chang, and Zev Alvidres. I'd like to pass it to Kevin Wang, our senior speech.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin. Thank you for being here today. For those who don't know me, I served as the administrative director back in Team 35. For those that do know me, know that I am a strong proponent of the UW Formula experience. I am an optimist that believes in the ability of this team to achieve anything that we set our minds to, which will include winning Michigan, being the first team in North America to successfully compete a driverless Formula car, and being the only All-American team to compete in Formula Student Germany. Most importantly of all, I'm an optimist in Formula's mission to produce world-class engineers. When I joined back as a freshman in T34, many things were different. Coming out of COVID, the team went from failing tech inspection in T33 to placing third in T34. I remember looking around at that group of seniors that they had felt so proud to deliver what felt like to many of them a comeback. To me, it set the bar high, that we were a winning team, that we could only achieve success. Setting high expectations for yourself often means you'll be disappointed with the results. But each and every year, this team continues to impress me with the talent, fortitude, and grit it takes to give it our all at every competition and throughout the challenges we face each and every quarter. It's with this perspective that I've developed that leads me to be confident that UW Formula represents the pinnacle of what University of Washington students can achieve. No group of students, in my opinion, represents this excellence better than Team 37, and especially than this class of 2026. My peers on the stage represent an often invisible, yet often vocal, guiding force that pushes and pulls and gives and takes, and is the bane yet blessing of many of the leads and directors. In our darkest hours, they are often our saving grace, and in our proudest moments, they remind us of the lessons that got us here. To be in your senior year on this team requires sacrifice. It requires 6 a.m. mornings and 4 a.m. nights. Nights that become mornings and mornings that become evenings. It means you've learned to work your class schedule around your formula schedule and the car schedule over your life schedule. Every member on this team makes sacrifices, but the seniors on this team often make the greatest sacrifice because the team itself has done all it can for them, and they are now doing more for the team in return. Through summer internships and fall internships, through design quarter after design quarter, and the cycle of manufacturing and testing year after year, Formula has prepared these seniors to be as ready as they can for the next step in their careers. And since no one mentioned it earlier, this group of seniors better be continuing our 100% positive outcome rate that we've maintained over the past 5 years of finding a full-time position or continuing education within 6 months of graduation. But given that we have no first-year seniors, the question remains, why do they still stay? Obviously, it's all the benefits that Isaiah mentioned before: money, health benefits, and a great parking spot. But in all seriousness, I think this exceptional group stays for one or many of these 3 reasons. 1, to give back and mentor the next generation of leaders who will aspire to take this team to even greater heights. All of us want to win, and winning year after year means developing younger members in the same way we were mentored when we were freshmen and sophomores. The best way to make sure they don't mess it all up is to teach, to mentor, and to pass knowledge down. 2, to do the hard things, to learn about things that we would otherwise never get an opportunity to do in the rest of our lives. And I have a strong conviction that Formula is the perfect blank slate to explore any curiosity or passion one may have. These seniors may have figured out that little secret, realizing that besides breaking the laws of physics, the world is your oyster here. And 3, the community here is hard to come by in quality, unmatched in caliber, and irreplaceably, the people we've grown up and developed into full-blown engineers with. It's an amazing group of friends to learn from, to break things with, to fix the things you broke, and win with. For these reasons, I'm still here, and I know many to my left share in these convictions. Most especially, Pranay, Ruben, Kim, Joseph, and Lincoln. The 6 of us walked into this door as freshmen for T34 and still stand on this stage today. So a special shout out to them. My hope that I aim to impart from all of us seniors to the rest of the team and any potential new members in the audience is this. In the face of many, many reasons to throw in the towel, find your reason to do the hard things. There will never be another opportunity where you have the freedom and the resources to explore your passions, cultivate friendships that last a lifetime, and be part of something bigger than yourself with the impact you can have here on UW Formula Motorsports. Always be hungry to learn and be curious. Never rest in your laurels. Be humble in what you know. Teach with respect, and always lead with kindness. These are the values that Formula has taught me that will carry far, both on this team and into the future. So please join me in congratulating this group of seniors that will go on to make the next generation of planes, trucks, electric boats, and self-driving cars, who will design spaceships and rockets that take us to the moon and beyond, who will put data centers in space, satellites that connect humanity, satellites that deliver the energy from the sun to Earth, who will mine helium from the moon, realize the dream of clean fusion energy, push the boundaries of manufacturing, and so much more. I'm confident that UW Formula has prepared the class of 2026 the best they can to go out into the world and deliver the promise of an unbuilt future. In a world where anyone can build anything, where science fiction is becoming reality every single day, I am paying a close eye, and so should you, on the impact that this class of UW Formula seniors will have on all of our futures. Congratulations, thank you.
And now, before we unveil T37, I'd like to invite the T38 directors to the stage. Hello, everyone. My name is Nate Schubert, and I will be the technical director for the T38 vehicle. I'm currently in my second year here on the UW Formula Motorsports team, where I've spent most of my time within the Drivetrain sub-team. Here, I've learned to better my engineering skills, as well as overcome many hardships throughout my time. From long hours in the machine shop, to manufacturing companies telling me my tolerances are kind of absurd, there isn't much I'd change. So, thank you, Pranay, for crashing my interview and giving me a chance on this team. I also want to, I've also had the opportunity to lead the partnership sub-team. Many of you in attendance may recognize my name from the various emails you've received. For that, I both thank you for the support you've offered to the team, as well as your tolerance for the spam we may have caused. Either way, that position has given me opportunities to be in situations I never thought I'd be in. Meetings with CTOs, VPs, and other engineers on a weekly basis, sharing everything there is to know about this team that I love so much, and all the reasons they should give us their money, has been a great experience. I also want to highlight the community that this team has. As a young freshman from middle of nowhere, Washington, it can be kind of scary going to campus knowing you won't know a single person there. However, after my first Wednesday all-hands meetings back in MEB 238, I quickly realized that I already had a family here waiting for me. I was swiftly adopted by a group of friends who taught me everything they knew, as well as knocked me down a few pegs when I needed it, and for that, I'm forever grateful. While I will be the technical director, this team does not stop with the car. And with that, I introduce Jessica Liu, T38 Administrative Director.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Nate. My name is Jessica Liu, and I'm so excited to be your Administrative Director for T38. When I first applied to UW Formula Motorsports, I severely underestimated what I had signed myself up for. And in all honesty, I actually applied to UW Formula 2 entire weeks too late. And I remember sitting there on my computer in my dorm looking at the website, which you guys should all visit, by the way. And I remember staring at the deadline thinking, maybe next time's my chance. And when next time rolled around, I reapplied, and after a summer of waiting and a 30-minute interview, I got in. So then I decided to join the team, and after this, I realized that this would just be another mild commitment and that I wouldn't spend too much time on this. But as the year started, I realized a truth that we all know too well. that there is no such thing as a mild commitment to Formula. The next quarter, the opportunity to become purchasing lead arose. And with an interest in the organizational and financial side of the team, I took the role. And through this, I saw firsthand how much effort and care it took behind the scenes. Between chasing down missing orders and tracking our team finances, I learned a lot about this team very, very, very quickly. Looking back, what I underestimated was not just the workload, but how much I would come to care about the team and the people in it. Looking forward to T38, I'm excited to step into a role where I can fully support the team. And I want to make sure members have the same kind of meaningful experience that I've had this past year. More than anything, I'm incredibly excited and honored to be working alongside this team of engineers. Thank you, and I'll pass it over to Taylor Lai, our operations director.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor and I will be the T38 operations director. This is my third year on the team with my first season on E-Train and then my next 2 on suspension. I can wholeheartedly say that being on this team has changed the trajectory of my career. I remember my freshman year when I was switching from E-Train to suspension and my new lead asked me, "What project do you want?" I said, ARBs, something small, something low risk, something that wouldn't hurt the driver if I failed. He gave me carbon fiber control arms. The first year of it, very likely to end in catastrophic failure, very dangerous. But this project has taught me so much about engineering and helped me prove to myself that I am capable of solving hard technical challenges. It also looks great on my resume. Being surrounded by some of the brightest minds at UW has taught me so much, but beyond that, these guys are some of the best friends that I'll make in college. There's something special about eating 120 chicken nuggets at 2 a.m. on the pit couch after you've been working for the last 8 hours. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to lead the team next year in Michigan and in Germany, but this car wouldn't be possible without the work of our leads. And with that, I'd like to invite the T38 leads to the stage.
As we begin the outline for T38, we see many areas for development in the vehicle. A new chassis, suspension geometry, aerodynamics package, and electrical systems are on the way. We have new ideas, new members, and a new year of pushing Formula student performance at the University of Washington. However, before we get there, before we get ahead of ourselves, we have more testing, more driving, and a competition to win with T37. And with that, I'll pass it back to our T37 directors.
Thank you all so much for your time. Genuinely, your support and you showing up here is what keeps us going forward. We're super excited to showcase our new vehicle, and we welcome everyone for a reception in Nano Commons. If you look into your map and your brochure, if you picked one up, there should be more outside. But it's just a 4-minute walk outside past the fountain, or just behind it, actually. We'll have Zell's Catering there, and you're more than welcome to stop by the pit, which is our workspace, formerly known as the Engineering Annex on Google Maps. But please come talk to us or come find me if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bro, this truck. I'm gonna play this as.
Innovation drives. And dreams become reality.